Hello and welcome back to another video feature of the Immersive Worlds Handbook. Today I'm focusing on what I'm calling demographic theming, and I'm looking at the chain Dotty's. And Dotty's is an interesting chain that started in Illinois and eventually spread through Oregon and is now represented in Nevada and certainly has over 150 different locations. And I chose Dotty's for a reason because of its focus on theming. I just share with you a few pictures here, and in these pictures you can see that the approach to theming is quite different from your typical casino. One of the things you note when you walk into a Dotty's is the decor. In fact, if you read the press material and many of the news stories that have been done about the interesting Dotty's chain, they appeal to a specific demographic, and thus they try to create decor that will please that demographic. And so certainly in this respect, Dotty's is not surprising compared to other casinos, but maybe it is surprising in terms of its specificity in targeting this specific demographic of women 35 years old and up. And the interesting thing you'll notice stepping into a Dotty's casino is that the decor is to mimic a country kitchen, and you certainly see that at the food area. You also can see that from the tables, the interior decor, the various knickknacks, the sconce shelves, and other decor that certainly look nothing like some of the casinos we've come to expect in big places like Las Vegas, with the over-the-top theming that we've come to note with such forms of gambling and casino entertainment. Now, there's certainly much more to the Dotty story than I can get into in this brief video feature, and I definitely recommend this article that was written by the Las Vegas Review-Journal. And specifically in the 2010s or so, beginning at that time, there was a concern about Dotty's, and the specific concern related to exactly what kind of establishment it was. I guess you could say it wasn't really claiming to be a casino. Was it a tavern? It was very hard to identify, and I think what happened, according to some of the literature, is that some competitors felt that Dotty's was maybe getting away with things by having so much of its revenue, up to 90% in some accounts, dependent on slot machines. And so I had read that because of some legislation, some of the Dotty's in Nevada were required to serve food for at least 12 hours a day during operation. And so certainly it's an interesting case, and again I very much recommend that you read the article in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, because it details much more about this case that I think suggests some of the blurring that goes on when we talk about establishments, particularly in the case in Nevada or states where there is some form of legalized gambling, where you have this blurring of the lines between a gambling establishment, a sports bar, a casino, and the like. And one of the curious things about Dotty's is that in focusing its theming and its operations on this specific demographic of women 35 years old and older, what they've done, I think, is identified that some casinos, some sports bars can be alienating to this demographic. If it's a sports bar, if it's one of the so-called restaurants, such as Twin Peaks or Hooters, Twisted Kilt, then this could be very off-putting to both women and older women. And one of the things you note inside Dotty's is that you may find a TV playing not showing any of that typical sports type entertainment that you see at those sports bars. In fact, it might be showing a show like Ellen or The View, thus focusing on targeting the entertainment, the atmosphere, the immersion within the spaces of Dotty's on its demographic target, which is this audience of middle-aged to older women. So I think it teaches us an important lesson about how demographics and the specific population that is being targeted by any themed or immersive space or establishment, or in this case franchise, how that is such an important factor in terms of thinking about how to create atmosphere within that space. So I hope you've enjoyed this video feature today, focusing on demographic theming and the interesting chain Dotty's. Please come back for additional video features of the Immersive Worlds Handbook.